Our next speaker is actually representing the team that won 4 years ago, Husk Power Systems, and it is so exciting for us and really a treat to get to hear about what they've been doing since they were up here, well, not here. It was in a much smaller, darker room than far fewer people when they were making their pitch to some of us who are still here today. They won the 2008 Social Innovation Competition with their really impressive idea for a clean, safe, and efficient power plant that was fueled by agricultural waste, predominantly rice husks. And their target market is in India, where hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are without electricity because the government does not provide it. Currently, Husk Power System operates 60 plants serving 250 villages and more than 150,000 people in rural India. Over the next 5 years, their goal is to expand to more than 2,000 plants and serve and provide power to more than 2 million people in rural India. So without a doubt, a great success story for the Dell Social Innovation Competition. Since they've been here, I'm equally impressed to say they've raised more than $3.5 million of equity capital, and Manoj, who's going to be speaking to you today, was instrumental, in fact, one of the key co-founders in raising this money from really prestigious investors like the Acumen Fund, Shell Foundation, Draper, Fisher, Jerviston, the IFC, the International Finance Corp, and LGT Venture Philanthropy. They've also been featured in Fast Company, New York Times, and the Times of India. I was at a conference in September, one of the sort of signature national conferences on social entrepreneurship, and just started beaming when the keynote speaker featured as the darling of social entrepreneurship, Husk Power Systems, in her PowerPoint. Felt like a motherly pride about it. And so please join me in welcoming Manoj Sinha, who's one of the co-founders of Husk Power Systems, who will come up here and share with us a little bit about what they've been doing since they won our competition 4 years ago. So clear the clutter for you.
Thanks, Susie. At the time when we were competing in 2008, I never expected Texas to give me an award for biomass-based electricity generation system, so thanks. I'm so excited to have met each of the finalists, and these guys have inspired me to do even more than what we are doing today. We are doing about 3 power plants a week. Because of you guys, I'm inspired to do 7 plants a week next year. I would like to thank RGK Center, LBJ, and all the judges who believed in us. Because of you, we are where we are today. So thanks a lot. And thank you, Kelly, for being so patient with me, for arranging my travel plans, etc. Thank you. So what do? We are Husk Power Systems. We own and operate 25 to 100 kilowatt mini power plants that run on 100% biomass waste. Our operating model happens to be we are installing these power plants in off-grid villages in India. We wire the entire village. We provide electricity as a service to households, businesses, and for irrigation purposes. And customers pay us for the service that we provide. So 3 co-founders, myself, Ganesh, and Ratnesh, we all grew up in this state called Bihar. It's very, very famous for being the most illiterate state and most underdeveloped state in India. However, that was the inspiration for all of us to start this company and help our own community. So we embarked on this path to electrify Bihar to start with. That was back in 2008. And today, we aspire to electrify the entire rural world in the next 5 years. So why did we start what we started? 1.4 billion people do not have access to power supply. Most of you probably know this today. 2.5 billion people do not have access to saving accounts or checking accounts. They do not have access to any banking system. That was one of the data points that sort of motivated us. Other than that, growing as a child in rural parts of Bihar, I had to study in candlelights, which was painful. And our own relatives stayed in those, or still are in those villages who do not have access to power supply even today. And their kids did not do anything wrong that they do not have access to those facilities. So that was our motivation, and call it a sense of guilt that we started this company to electrify rural India. So where are we today? When I came here for the competition, we started our first plant back in August of 2007. We actually liquidated our 401k to install our first plant. We invested about $60,000, so our 401k was very small. But I think that's the best investment I ever made, because come 2008, Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers happened, and 401k tanked by 40 to 50%. And my investment, the first plant, is still operational, lighting about 500 households and electrifying 3 villages even today. In 2008, when I came for this competition, we had that power plant, and we were very, very fortunate to win that $50,000, because we took that money and went to party. We installed our 2 plants within 120 days of winning that competition, so we put that money immediately to work, and that brought us a lot of credibility in the market, and we partnered with our first grant provider, which is Shell Foundation, that injected $125,000 back in 2008. And that catapulted us from 3 plants to roughly 6 to 7 plants, and after that, it is all history. We actually learned about luck from Dr. Scott Sherman, and it is a lot about luck. I'm not saying that we were rock stars. It is a lot about luck that happened, the tailwinds that helped us to get where we are. Today we have 75 power plants. Susie, every day we add almost a plant, so it changes almost on a daily basis. So we have 75 power plants that powers 325 villages in northeastern part of India, and impacts approximately 200,000 people every day. And that's what motivates us. We have been very fortunate, as Susie pointed out, to have partnered with venture capital funds such as Acumen Fund, IFC. They have been very supportive in our mission. And our mission is to provide affordable and renewable energy to rural parts of the world. Indian power market is about $100+ billion, grows at 18 to 20%. It is very easy for us to get diverted to make more money and go into power sector and serve, say, semi-urban or urban areas. But we are our mission is very important, and that's what helps us scale to where we have scaled today. This is a slide of today used for my pitch back in 2008, and every judge hated it. And I still keep it, not because I want to showcase that we won with this, but this is the best I can do with background in engineering. One important point that I would like to bring up is this slide is extremely complex. That's what my education, both in premier institutes in India and the US, taught me, to build complex systems. I used to work with Intel. I designed a processor called Atom, and I was very proud of designing very complex systems that I cannot understand today. That is exactly what you do not want to do when you are a social entrepreneur and trying to solve problems of those people whose basic needs are electricity, clean water, health, safety, etc. I had to unlearn what I learned in corporate America, in best universities both in India and the US, and it was difficult. It is not easy to design simple systems. For me, filing a patent at Intel was a breeze. Designing this simple system is extremely challenging. So for all budding social entrepreneurs, I challenge you to design a really simplistic system that we have done so far, that even a high school educated person from village that we train for 2 to 3 months can operate and run the power plants that we have today. We do not hire engineers to run power plants. I would like all of you to take away 3 things from this slide. First is sustainability. Sustainability doesn't only mean being cash flow positive or environmentally sustainable, which is zero carbon footprint. To us, what it means is at each touch point, at each interaction that we have, be it our customers, be it our own employees, or corporate partners, everyone in the system has to benefit economically and in terms of creating shared value. An example in the case would be our customers are allowed only to use CFLs, compact fluorescent lamps. They procure those CFLs from the market. They pay about 20% premium for getting a really, really crappy CFL. For every 10 watt of power that we provide them, they lose about 8 watts of that because of inefficient lighting source. And they're paying 20% premium than the market. What we did to solve this problem is we partnered with Havel, one of the technology companies, procured very high quality CFL at 40% discount because they had zero footprint in the area we operate. We were giving them a footprint of 10,000 CFLs per month. And our customers got that CFL at 20% discount. We kept 20%, we are greedy. So in this triangular relationship, everyone benefited economically as well as in terms of creating shared value. And that's what we call sustainability. Our business will not be taken away by government sources because of this system that we have created today. At least that's what I hope. Second is keeping it simple that I just talked about. What we are really proud of is not the system and the technology that we have created. What we are really proud of is a simple system that we have created that even a high school or a person with no education can run the power plant. And thirdly, frugal innovation. Any of you who is trying to go into a social enterprise arena, if you cannot innovate by thinking from multiple dimensions, I used to think linearly. I used to design microprocessors. I was very proud of doing that, but I was a linear thinker. When you think about frugal innovation, it's not only about cutting down the cost. It's about designing a system that meets specific needs of the customer you serve. It's very easy to say that, very difficult to achieve. Perhaps a lot of you would know this car. Do you guys recognize this car? This is Tata Motors Nano. This is about $2,500 a piece, which is about 1/4 of the cost that you can get from any American motor manufacturing company in the same segment. And it serves the purpose of the customers that they're targeting. It takes you from point A to point B. It may not have an air conditioner. You may not need air conditioner in a lot of places. My point being, in India, one of the biggest problems in electricity generation distribution arena is 35% of what you distribute gets stolen or people default on payments. If we were to take that, we would be financially unsustainable and we would have closed that shop today. So we looked at off-the-shelf solution, and each prepaid meter in the US costs about $80 to $90 a piece. Our customers make $100 a month, right? They cannot afford that kind of system. So we stripped down what we saw off the shelf to meet exactly the needs that we were trying to serve. Can you guess how much our in-house prepaid meter cost? Anyone can shout. It's about $7 a piece. And that's what our customers can afford because we stripped it down to what our customers needed. And our electricity theft rate is below 5%. Sonal talked about scalability. That is a huge issue in social enterprise. There are handful names you can probably count on your fingers that have scaled. Grameen Bank, Grameen Phone, Kash Foundation, SKS Microfinance, if you will, and few other companies. It's very difficult to scale. And what we have realized in the last 3 years of operation is we are building a platform that will help us scale and meet our 2,000 plants target by the end of 2014. Our mantra is 2014 by 2014, serve 7.5 million people around the world, and serve about 10,000 villages by that time. And the way to do that is, one is training center. Dell and Intel, et cetera, are very lucky to have UT Austin in this city. They get pre-trained professional people, and they don't have to spend a lot of money and resources to do that. We do not get that in the villages. They have never worked in their lives other than the farming that they do. So we have to train them, and we have to get 2,000 operators, 150 engineers, 200 business owners ready by 2013 so that they can help us grow to 2,000 plants by 2014. And we have been very fortunate to partner with, again, Shell Foundation, and that goes back to drawing or taking that boundary out. We are getting Grant Foundation to establish this training center because it is not our business to establish training center. This slide is something that I presented back in 2009 in California. And half of the venture capitalists, and no offense to them, they laughed out of the room. They said, this is your dream, you live in a la-la land. And few folks that I really knew well, and I still know them well, they said, Manoj, you should not do that because you lose your credibility. We met all the target. In fact, we beat all the target. By 2010, we said we will do 50 plants. By the end of 2010, we did actually 65 plants. Thank you, but my point to the social entrepreneurs is take the advice that Silicon Valley veterans will give you because they have those experiences. Take it with a pinch of salt because they may or may not have the context in which you are doing your business. So no matter if he might be Bill Gates, but he may not know how to do rural electrification. So take his advice with a pinch of salt. To all folks who are either thinking of doing social entrepreneurship or not, all of us probably in this room, we work for corporate America. We serve about 25 to 30% of world population. That's what we are trying to solve. Most of us have ignored the next 65 to 70% of the world population. You have all the training, the education to solve the problem of all those people who need basic amenities in life, water, health, sanitation, etc. And they are being ignored by the most educated people in the world. You all can go to Goldman Sachs, UBS, make tons of dollars, but I can assure you that nothing will give you more happiness than when I stand in the village and my plant goes live at 5 p.m. and I get so happy that no amount of money from Wall Street bonuses would have made me happy. And this is coming from 5 years of experience. So if you have any doubt in going to social enterprise arena, do not have that doubt anymore. And lastly, I would like to point out, after all this happiness that I'm talking about, this field is tough. It is tough as almost hell. To get a bottle of cold beer is so tough after working until 1 a.m. in the morning or night, whatever you call it. I just wanted a bottle of beer, and chilled beer for that matter, and I could not because it's a luxury in those areas. My point being, it's a challenging field. It's not, I'm standing here in a suit and a tie. It sounds very easy. It's very tough to do what we do. It's very tough to make a dollar. But again, going back to this finalist, these are rock stars. Talk to them. They have not taken a normal career of going to Goldman Sachs, McKinsey, or Intel, or what have you. They chose to do or solve the problems of 4 billion people. And you all can do that too. Thank you.